What's going on? Welcome to the 32nd episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. I'm your host, Nyongbella Sibedwo. Today, we're going to be talking about various different topics, mainly, generally some, NBA topics I want to talk about, some music stuff, and probably, just some music stuff and my recent art show that I went to. I'm gonna just give a review of that. That was a good experience. Pancakes and boo. So get right into it. Is the Warriors dynasty over? Uh, that's just kind of like something I've been seeing recently, talking about how the Warriors and they got to break the team up, break up what they got going on, and I definitely don't think that their dynasty and their core and what they got going on is over. I think just the fact that they're, superstar, franchise guy, Steph Curry, still in his prime, still playing at a high level. Like just that in of itself, gives you a chance, at contending for a championship. And then you still got, there's been a lot of hoopla, a lot of talks about Klay Thompson and his productivity in recent, this in recent times. My personal opinion that it's just been a lot of just talk and not just do criticism that I don't, I just think the recent criticism of the injuries he's gone through the past 2 years, and then not really even giving credit to the fact that he's been able to bounce back from those injuries, like serious, injuries, not just, walking apart injuries, like season-ending injuries, two of them, being able to bounce back. He's played very good games. He shot at a very high level. He's had multiple 30-point games. We're gonna say that Klay Thompson's, playing maybe at the level that he once was in his prime days. Probably not, right? But in terms of Klay Thompson's ability to be productive, hit threes, still defend guys, again, maybe not at the highest levels, not, every night Klay Thompson's guarding your best player, but he can still defend, he can still hit threes, you know, good guy to have in your locker room. Like, he's averaging 17 points a game, um, second leading scorer on their team. So I'm just kind of confused by a lot of the talks. I think it's just media wanting to have something to talk about. But Clay's still a good piece. Um, if you want to use him as a guy off the bench, I mean, if it helps you win, hey, do it, Warriors. Or but I still think Clay can start on this Warriors team, can start anywhere else on an NBA team. He's still at that caliber of a player, in my personal opinion. Then you still got Draymond. Um, you know, you can talk about his antics and, recent times and, throughout his career and stuff like that. But Draymond, I'm gonna just give Draymond his credit. Um, obviously, Draymond went to my school. I've actually, had, some, you know, exchange pleasantries. We've had our agreements, disagreements, whatever in the past. But I'm gonna just be just honest in terms of Draymond and what he can do on the court and you know when people talk about Draymond, and sometimes I think it gets kind of confused of like, well, what does Draymond do so great on the court? Why is it that he, you know, gets, I guess, the respect and the credit he does from a lot of guys? Um, with Draymond, he does a lot on the floor. Um, he's not necessarily gonna be, quote unquote, maybe your most talented player or the scorer of the team, the go-to scorer of the team, but he does a lot of multiple different things that help contribute to winning, and a lot of those things don't necessarily end up on the stat sheet type of thing. And so that's the type of stuff that Draymond does and brings to a team that's good. Um, Not to mention he's a great defender. Um, One of the best defenders in the league, still at this age. Um, he's the Warriors facilitator on offense. My personal opinion, I think, you can talk about the facilitators throughout this whole Golden State dynasty has been Draymond and Steph. And Steph, if need be, is the better facilitator on offensively for the Golden State Warriors. But because Steph Curry is a better scorer and they need him to be that on that team, they need him to fill in that scorer role and then facilitator secondary. And with the Warriors, obviously, Draymond can score the basketball. He can, I don't know why he, I guess, loses confidence in shooting open threes from time to time because he's proven to hit those shots, but um he's a better facilitator than score. So for that Warriors team to be successful, they need him to be that primary facilitator on offense. And so that's what Draymond does, especially that really helps them on offensively, getting the guys involved, getting Steph open shots, getting Clay open shots, getting the rest of the guys open shots, easy buckets, leadership on the floor emotionally, um, stuff like that. And so taking charges, and these are things that, Draymond does that I believe a lot of coaches and people who really know the game of basketball recognize and say, well, that's really valuable for a team. Then not to mention one of the highest basketball IQ guys ever in the league. You know what I'm saying? Just basketball, or just in basketball that I've seen in general, he knows the game of basketball and how it's played. So these are the things that, when you got guys like that on your team, like it's like the Spurs when, you had Ginobili, Parker, and Tim Duncan. Just that core and the chemistry that they had. Maybe they weren't necessarily as talented as some other groups, but because they had the experience and they knew how to win, especially in the postseason, that gave them a big advantage. So, you still have Andrew Wiggins, you still got Jonathan Kuminga. He's making his way, getting better. Um, who else? I think, so they have pieces. Maybe you can add another guy, and you're right there, man. You're right back in contending in that top four, type of teams in the West. So I definitely don't think the Warriors dynasty is over. I still think they can compete um, and contend playoff wise. Maybe a piece or two away from contending for a championship. Who knows? But I definitely don't. If I'm the Warriors and their organization, I'm not breaking up what they got. I'm not gonna allow Klay Thompson to walk this offseason. Try to re-sign Klay. They already re-signed Draymond. They already got Steph. Just try to get another guy. I said one or two guys away, man, from being, a favorite for contending in the West. So, um, Yeah, so definitely don't think dynasty is over with the Warriors. I've been saying this throughout the year, and just like people have been, having their, you know, getting too caught up in the moment and the feelings and stuff like that instead of just, thinking logically and you know, viewing, obviously you've seen, a lot of people don't like to learn from the past. You've seen what they've done in the past. They've contended. Um, they still got the same core group of guys. They've won. So yeah. Rookie of the year race, I think, right now, we talk about the rookies of the years. It's been a really good little crop of guys this season of rookies. Some of them, about four guys that have been really notable for me this year. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama averaging about like 20, 10, and like 3 blocks. You know what I'm saying? Has been as good as advertised. Rookie year, putting up numbers like that. If this was a team that was winning, um, he likely been an all-star or something like that. But likely going to get that nod next year. I'm definitely going to say next year he's going to get that all-star nod. If not his third year. It's really, his team, really isn't good. They're last in the West, but he's been as good as advertised, man, showing just the package he got, shooting from the three, uh, whether it's spot up, off the dribble, step back, dunking on cats, alley oops, um, showing the post moves, being debatably, I think it was Paul Pierce saying like he could be the first guy to win Rookie of the Year and then Defensive Player of the Year. So he's in that conversation in terms of being a Defensive Player of the Year, and he has been, like I said, as good as advertised. I'm really, want to see how things work out for him with the Spurs organization. They gotta, build around him, add some pieces. But he's, in my personal opinion, been the number one, the favorite to win this award this year, with just his play personally, just individual play. Then you got Chet Holmgren, to me second, but he's been playing very well in his first season. Both him and Wemby have had matchups this year. Both been good matchups. Went head to head. They didn't have good matchup, and I think this is going to be a matchup of the next 10 to 15 years, because I think that these guys have the chance to be that good in this league, showing the promise already in this league. They looking like vets. They look like guys who've been in, not necessarily vets, but at least guys who belong and have been here for at least 4 or 5 years, and they're playing like that as a rookie. So I'm very impressed with Chet and Wemby. Then Brandon Miller for the Hornets. He's been playing well, and especially in recent time. They had a couple of 30-point games, really showing what he can do offensively. Um, Kind of like he reminds me like he plays a lot like his personal goal, Paul George. Definitely believe he has a chance to be um, that reach that kind of caliber as a Paul George in this league. He keeps developing his game and doing what he's doing. He has a lot of promise. Definitely think he can be an all-star. And then fourth, Jordan Hawkins for the Pelicans. Um, he's a guy who's again, the thing about these four guys have definitely showed a lot of poise that they belong in this league. Jordan Hawkins, um, his ability to hit open shots and, you know, like I said, I mentioned before, he reminds me a lot of Richard Hamilton. He went to UConn, you know what I'm saying? But his game very much so is similar to like a Richard Hamilton. I like his game a lot. I think all four of these guys have a chance to be all-stars at some point in this league because, you know, they've shown the talent, in my opinion, to be in that conversation of, you know, potential future all-stars and stuff. So those the four guys I would say is in my race thus far for rookie of the year. I got Wemby right now at number one though. Second to Chet. Then I gotta go Brandon Miller, then last Hawkins. So yeah. MVP race. So right now, I gotta mention Jason Tatum. He got the Celtics at number one in the East. I think they just are like on a 10-game win streak. Um, you know, exiting the All-Star break on a good. They've entered the second half of the season on a good start. Um, Playing at a high level. I definitely think he definitely should be in the consideration for MVP. Then you got to go with Shea. Has had the OKC in the 1 and 2 spots for the most part of the season, averaging about 30, 31 points a game, about 6 assists, just been, you know, that go-to guy offensively for the Thunder and has been that consistently. He's shown a level of consistency um, as their guy on that team. Then you got to go with Anthony Edwards. He as well has had his Minnesota Timberwolves between the 1 and 2 spots in the West throughout the year. Been playing very well. You know, a lot of people have had a lot of high praise for him and the promise he's shown. Talking about he can be a future face of the NBA. You know, he definitely has that level of talent and ability to be, you know, in that kind of stratosphere. Um, I just like what him and him and Cat have been doing this year. But I think he's been the main driving force for them and their production. You know what I'm saying? They kind of going, you know, they moving on off the energy of Edwards, and then gotta go with Joker. You know what I'm saying? Joker has had Denver as a top 3 team throughout the West throughout for the most part of the season. Um, just been super efficient, putting up the crazy numbers. Just been having just getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? He stepped up his efficiency. You know, he's always been efficient, but I think his efficiency has even stepped up a notch, even more so this year. And then lastly, Kawhi Leonard, I think, should get some consideration as well because he's really been efficient. You know, for the Clippers, been healthy for the most part. Been the best player for the Clippers. Won some big games for them this year, and so I think he should be considered. Teams to watch in the second half of the season. Um, the Suns. The Suns is definitely a team to watch out for. You know, obviously the first half of the season they, were banged up with a lot of injuries amongst their core guys of Bradley Beal, KD, and Booker. In recent time they've had a break into where they've been able to kind of play amongst each other, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these guys, in this second half of the season are able to gel now that guys are healthy. And Bo has been putting up numbers. He had about 25 and 14 recently, one night. So he's an X factor on that team. You got Eric Gordon. They got guys um, who can put up numbers, and so that's a team to watch out for. Then another Dallas Mavericks. They've gotten better. Recently added PJ Washington, and that's a good addition. Luka has been killing all year. Kyrie has, found a very comfortable with his role and position on the Mavs, been playing at a high level. Kind of the fact that there hasn't been any offseason BS. People don't want to, give Kyrie his acknowledgement of the level of play that he's been playing at a very high level. Very high level. Same with Hardaway. So, this is a team that, if they can get hot, two guys with like a Kyrie and a Luka Doncic, man, on any given night, these two guys can beat you. And I know that that's just valid. Um, I think any team would agree with that. Any given night, these two guys can beat you. It's just a matter of can they beat you in over a 7-game series. That's the question. But you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie, you can beat any team. Period. And so that's a team to look out for. Then you got the Heat. Obviously they're a team that's always built for the later end of the season, second half to the playoff time. First half of the season they're usually not. They're just playing for that later on for the season. They recently just added Terry Rozier, who I think is going to be a good pickup for them. An extra score that would be very useful for them. I think definitely when the playoffs come, Terry Rozier is going to put up some big shots. He's a big shot maker. For those who don't know, he's a guy who makes big shots and can score the ball. And you're gonna have to look out for him. You got him, Hero, Jimmy, Bam. All four of them can put up 20. So 20 plus. So and they got ancillary guys too who can put up numbers too. So watch out for the Heat. And then the Knicks is my last team that I definitely would suggest guys to look out for. Jalen Brunson's been balling out all year. Randall been playing well, just injured. Josh Hart been playing well. DiVincenzo, he's a guy. He's a guy I like a lot. One of the players I like a lot. And they just added Bogdanovich. So they're a team that I think has a nice core of guys. Really, been playing really well. So those are my teams to look out for in the second half of the season. Up and coming players to watch. Guys that I've younger guys that I've seen that have shown some promise that I've just would like to give some acknowledgement to that I think should is Keontae George. He's a guy that I've been seeing in recent times, plays for the Utah Jazz, and he's been playing very well. He's actually a rookie. I should definitely have mentioned him in terms of the rookie of the year, but he's been playing very well. He's a guy that I think can be a future, good guy. I mean, maybe all-star. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen his talent, and I'm like, I like what I'm seeing from Keontae George. Having him and marketing kind of building Utah Jazz can kind of build off that. They got Colin Sexton's on that team, Jordan Clarkson, got some good pieces. But Keontae George is a guy I think the Utah Jazz should, build as their future guard on the Utah Jazz. He's shown a lot of promise, in my opinion. Can go to the hole, finish, and shoot, and all that. I really like his game. Then Jalen Williams for the OKC Thunder. He's another guy that I've seen in recent time that I think is going to be a all-star mate with Shea Gill in the future time. Him and Chet. The three of them are going to be all-stars in the future. But Jalen Williams has been a guy that has been a good slasher, efficient scorer. It's a good player that I've seen. I like his game a lot. So yeah, Jalen Williams, definitely. G.G. Jackson for Memphis Grizzlies. Guy I wasn't aware of, but he stepped up. I wasn't aware of who he was prior to the season. I think this might be his rookie year. I don't know, but I seen him play. He's been balling. Has had a couple good games. I think he's a guy that's gonna be. The Memphis Grizzlies should definitely keep around for their future because they got a bright future. You bring, Ja's gonna be back next year, and you got some you back on and running as a team that's contending. So, G.G. Jackson, guy who's been playing very well. I think he's gonna be a good player in this league. And then Kobe White for Chicago Bulls. He's been balling, putting up some pretty good numbers, averaging, I think about 25 and 5. You know what I'm saying? Been playing very well, just scoring the ball at a high level, doing this thing. And then lastly, Cam Thomas, the guy I mentioned earlier, is a guy that I thought was a rising star in this league. Just been a guy who's shown to me who can score the hell out of the basketball at a high level. Just a really good scorer. I think can average 25 plus in this league. So, in due time. So, but yeah, these are guys I'd say some of the up and coming guys to watch, in this league. Favorite point guards entering or in their prime. Just a couple guys. It's a lot of guards that I really like, young guards that I like, and I feel like I would like to acknowledge them. And I just really like their game. They have very fun games, entertaining games. I just like how they play. Tyrese Halliburton, definitely guy I like a lot. Got like an unorthodox shot, but I like his game, how he plays, the flair he plays. I really like his passing ability. To me, the best passer in the league right now. Halliburton, then Tyrese Maxey, a guy who reminds me like a young D Wade in some sense, and the way he plays. Can score the basketball, pass and all that. Plays hard, good dude, good quality character guy from what I've seen. Don't get into any BS like that. Then De'Aaron Fox, another guy that I really like. Just a guy who can do it all on the court. You know what I'm saying? Probably the fastest guy in the league. Can dunk on you, take you to the rim, shoot. Efficient free throw shooter, can pass it. He can really do it all. I really love De'Aaron Fox's game. Trae Young, been a big fan of Trae Young throughout his career. What he's been able to do, he can score at a high level and can pass the ball at a high level as well. Has shown that throughout his career. Big fan of his game. Very crafty. Can do it at a super high level. You know what I'm saying? And to what he does, especially with his size, and it's incredible to see what he does in this league. Jalen Brunson, really like what he's been doing over there in New York. Being the franchise guy right now, um, showing some good promise. Uh, just like his craftiness, um, his he's very poised as a player. Um, doesn't get rattled. He's a guy who just kind of stays to maintains that kind of equilibrium when he's playing. Doesn't get too high, too low. Really admire that about Jalen Brunson. And then LaMelo Ball, um, just kind of been, you know, battling the injuries, but he's a guy who I think is a superstar. He has that level of talent, um, makes some incredible plays, um, uh, just can super confidence. I love his confidence when he plays. Um, I just liked his game. It's high energy, it's flashy, it's stylistic. I really like LaMelo Ball's game. Then Shea Gill for OKC, smooth, can score any which way on the court. Um, like I said, he's been the best finisher in this league, in my opinion. Can shoot the outside ball. Been a good leader for the OKC team. And yeah, man, I really like Shea's game a lot. And then Luca has been that dude, man. Just. I mean, he's a magician on the court. Gets to where he wants to go. Gets to his spots. Um, you know, super efficient. Plays the game simple, and I'm just a big fan of his game, man. So Luka Doncic, and then lastly, Ja Morant. Uh, Super entertaining. Plays with so much energy. A great leader on the floor. Great passer. I love the way he gets guys involved. Um, you know, great passer. Can score, get to the rim, finish in all kind of crazy ways that I like, and I think that's dope. So yeah, Ja Morant to finish it off. Favorite shooting guys entering or in their prime. So a couple guys wanted to like to mention the games that I really like. Uh, Donovan Mitchell, mentioned him earlier in this year about him just being a sleeper superstar in this league. Man, he's a great player, score at a high level, also can, facilitate. Love Donovan Mitchell's game a lot. And then you got to go Anthony Edwards, a great young two guard in this league. Um, can score, super great score, very creative, with his scoring at times. He got the package, just being able to, take you off the dribble and fadeaways and, turnaround fades and stuff like that. Like I really like that about Edwards' game. And he plays that way. Um, he shoots he shoots those shots at a high level. And I think that's where the Jordan comparison comes from, is like Edwards is really good at the turnaround fades and, break you down off the dribble a little bit and then just, pull up type thing, kind of what Jordan used to do. And then he has the athleticism and can finish at the cup, and then in crazy type of ways and stuff like that. So, and Edwards, then I got to go Jaylen Brown, guy who just very great slasher, um, very, just um, a guy who's, plays the game very simple, athletic, can score it. Um, People kind of have been criticizing him for his handles. I think he's a guy who does. He has a fish. He has good handles. I actually like Jalen Brunson's handles. But I think that I think he can, and then he can hit that jumper. He can hit that three. I just, he obviously there's always room for improvement, but He's a guy that I think that, he still has even more in his bag to show. I don't think we've seen the best of Jalen Brown yet. But obviously what I've seen thus far from him, he's one of the favorite two guys that I like to watch in the league. Um, Been an all-star. So him, and then lastly, Anthony Simons. Portland's not one of the better teams in the league um, this year, but he has had a great season, kind of has taken on that, primary scoring role since, CJ and Dame have departed from Portland. Um, he's taken on the role pretty well. Has some very good games, has some 40-point games. So yeah, Anthony Simons, man, he's a player, man. Kanye's album Vultures. So I listened to Kanye's recent album, came out a couple weeks ago, called Vultures. I wanted to just do a quick review on it. Um, good project. I think it's one of his better projects in recent years. Just kind of very rappy. You know, I'm a rappy type of guy. I think it's very rappy Kanye, not a lot of singing and hymnal kind of Kanye. Um, has some good bars on there. Ty Dolla's on the joint. Just collab with Ty Dolla Sign. Ty Dolla, one of my favorite artists. Um, One of my favorite music artists. I've been hip to him since my time in college. Uh, been one of the doper artists. Very unique. I think he's like the modern day Nate Dogg in some sense. But you know, uh, Ty Dolla is dope. Him and Kanye always, I think, have had some great chemistry in the past, and I think that's kind of what inspired them to do this project. Production was great. Kanye production. I think Kanye was on all of the production. I think he worked with a couple producers throughout the project, but I think had some really good features. That Freddie Gibbs verse was, you know, was definitely great. One of the doper verses I've heard in a while. Like Freddie Gibbs really went in. Um, Rich the Kid was on the joint. Travis, I believe. Just his usual guys, and um, Vori, I believe. But great project. He has some other features on there. Not I can't name all the time. I had Lil Durk is on there. But yeah, it was a good project. I like the project a lot. Um, I believe they're doing like a volume 2 to it, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, man, anybody out there definitely check out the that Kanye album. Uh, it's a pretty it's good it's a pretty good uh body of work in my personal opinion. The greatness of Usher, man. I just wanted to I've been a fan of Usher since the You Make Me Want to Be the One You Ain't Start a New, since the beginning of, Usher, you know what I'm saying? Uh and to the date. And I just kind of wanted to, and that was the 90s. That was, I want to say 96, 97, 95, something like that. And I think I just want to just kind of give kudos to the career he's had. He's been great for all this time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's, and R&B been, he's done R&B and pop, but just, you know, being great for that, the longevity, you know what I'm saying? And the consistency, you know what I'm saying? His ability to be able to adjust to the times. throughout his career, never being somebody who you know, got, stuck in an era. He's been able to adjust throughout the times and make great music. Um, Still looked super youthful. Um, just performed at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Making records. And it's just like even the records that he puts out with a lot of the today's quote unquote stars in the R&B lane, like a Summer Walker, a Ellie Mae, Chris Brown, or whoever, Brent Fires, he still sounds fresh. He still sounds current. He sounds current with these younger acts. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's something um, to acknowledge and take heed of, because that's dope. You know what I'm saying? For a guy who's been in this game for almost 30 years and you still sound fresh. He's like the Nas of R&B. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to just give, his flowers. You know what I'm saying? He just dropped a recent project. I still haven't listened to it yet. I'm definitely going to do that. Maybe I'll do a review on that in a future episode. Um, but definitely would suggest people to go take a listen to it. If you have listened to it, I'd like to hear what your opinion, your review on it is. But uh, it's definitely, I'm surprised it's going to be a good project. But Usher, just an artist I've enjoyed his career and his music throughout his career. I just want to give his flowers. Pancakes and Booze, Washington, D.C., February 22nd. So I've recently presented at the Pancakes and Booze in D.C., my hometown area, on the 22nd February. Um, I was first introduced to the art show by a dope artist that I met at one of my collectives that I'm part of, Art Rave. Heidi, she's the one who she takes really great pictures. She's the one who informed me about the art show, and I did my research and you know tried to make my request, and I liked it, and I made my request to be a part of it. Forced, I wasn't able to make the first one I was accepted in. I got accepted to present, but I wasn't able to show. And so I said I definitely had to make the next one. And lo and behold, they had one a couple months later, and I presented, and it was a very, very great experience. At the Pancakes and Booze, it was very dope. Probably one of the best, vendor events that I've been to. Um, all the artists were great, highly talented. Everyone, every single artist that was there was great. In my personal opinion, had their own great artistic vision, um, and I really admired all the artists that was there. Um, I presented my designs, my clothing designs. Um, I got some good feedback from people, and bought some stuff. Um, Shout out to my brother Brent. He showed up. Um, and purchase some stuff. So I appreciate you for showing up. But it was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of new artists and people and stuff like that. Communicate, socialize, and that's the main thing for me, especially when I go to these vendor meets and the market. Man, obviously we all we're artists, but and we want to make money too because it's a business and stuff like that. Um, but for me, the experience of meeting new people, connecting, maybe potentially collaborating on some work. That's one of the main reasons why I come to these events and, these art events and stuff like that, just meeting new people, making new relationships with people. And I did met some dope artists. Um, just I, like I said, there was all the artists were great that was there. Some artists that I just off the top of the head that were great, and that there's work that I really liked. Um, I really liked Cassandra. Her art was really good. Um, very very vivid and clear, and I just really was a fan of her art. Uh, Raven, she was another artist. I got a piece from her as well. It's like a J. Cole piece. She was a great artist. Benjamin Moore, he's an artist that I met at a at an art rave um, vendor event. Very great artist. Got a piece from him before. He was there. He presented. Uh, I think, and many others. Like I said, there's another clothing artist designer, the Pico Space. I thought his concept of his brand was pretty cool. He was there, and like I said, there was so many. Every artist was great, in my personal opinion. No disrespect if I didn't call you. Just some of the artists that came to mind that I thought was dope. That I can remember their name. Um, and then just the layout was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? They had the a section with the artists, the vendors, the art, the drawers and the painters, and then they had the bar indoor. They had a bar outdoor. They had like a little, spots outdoor where you could just kind of chill and sit back and relax. Um, then they had like the pancakes that was set up in the back there. Fortunately, I didn't get any pancakes, but from what I was told, they're really good. So next time, definitely gonna get some pancakes. I definitely requested for a show recently to do a show. They're gonna have one in Brooklyn, April 25th, and if, by the grace of God, I be able to present. They can accept me, and I'll be able to present some of my designs and my clothes and stuff. And so definitely will look forward to you know that. But yeah, thanks again to Pancakes and Booze for allowing me to present my artwork, and be there. I appreciate you guys, and all the artists that were there. Appreciate y'all for y'all art and y'all inspiration. And hopefully we can you know collab on on some work. And yeah, so thanks again, y'all, for watching my 30-second episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. Definitely gonna be putting out some more work, of course. Been a little bit of time. I've been having some things that I've been, working on, especially my clothing brands. Been putting a lot of work in that in recent times. So haven't had enough time to, haven't created the time to, do podcast video, but fortunately I have done one. So thank you all and see you guys next time.